I bet you didn't know just how much power a single presidential decision could have on your daily life. Welcome back to Universal Insight. Please subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon button for more updates. Supreme Court Showdown, Trump's tariffs, emergency powers, and what's at stake. It's April 2025. The world is reeling from what's being called the Tariff Bomb, a sweeping 10% tax slapped on nearly every import entering the United States. The origins of this shockwave trace back to months of escalating trade tensions and campaign promises. President Trump, citing national security and economic emergency, invoked rarely used executive powers to bypass Congress and impose the tariffs overnight. That's the immediate impact. Global markets plunged, supply chains froze, and American businesses scrambled to adapt as costs soared and uncertainty spread. Now, the nation's highest court faces a historic question. Does the president truly have the authority to wield such sweeping economic power alone, or has he overstepped the constitutional boundaries set by Congress? The legal battle is fierce, with lawmakers, business leaders, and constitutional experts all weighing in. This is more than economics. It's a battle over the very structure of American government and who truly controls the nation's future. The stakes have never been higher. It began with Liberation Day. On February 15th, 2025, President Trump signed an executive order, a 10% tariff on almost all imports, plus a new reciprocal system. If another country taxes US goods, we match it. The administration called it fairness, critics called it chaos. Overnight, businesses faced massive new costs. Supply chains froze, allies protested. The order bypassed Congress, raising constitutional alarms. Prices soared, and the world's trading system teetered. Was this negotiation or economic warfare? The legal battle was just beginning. How did the president justify this? By invoking the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, IEEPA, a law meant for true national emergencies. Historically, IEEPA targeted rogue states or terrorists, not trade deficits. The administration argued that chronic trade deficits threatened national security, redefining emergency. Supporters called it creative. Critics called it a dangerous overreach. If this stands, any president could use emergency powers to rewrite trade policy. The courts had to decide, is this legal innovation or a constitutional loophole? The stakes, the very limits of presidential power. Lawsuits flooded in. Business groups and states argued the tariffs were unconstitutional. The Court of International Trade halted the tariffs, ruling that trade deficits aren't a national emergency under IEEPA. The court invoked the Major Questions Doctrine. Big changes need clear congressional approval. The administration appealed, but the Federal Circuit agreed. Congress, not the president, sets tariffs. Two courts had drawn a line. Emergency powers can't override the Constitution. The administration's last hope, the Supreme Court, the fate of Liberation Day and the balance of power was now in the justices' hands. The nation waited. The Supreme Court took the case fast. The government argued the president needs flexibility to protect the economy. Opponents warned of an economic dictator. The justices compressed months of arguments into weeks. On one side, unleash executive power for rapid response. On the other, defend Congress's constitutional authority over trade. The verdict would shape not just tariffs, but the future of American government. The world watched as 9 justices prepared to decide. If the court rules against Trump, the tariffs vanish. Businesses win and billions in duties may be refunded. The ruling would set a powerful precedent. Presidents can't use vague emergency laws to bypass Congress on trade. Congress's authority would be reinforced. But trade tensions would remain, and the administration would need Congress to act. The executive's power would be checked, but the political fight over trade would continue. Would Congress step up, or would new legal battles begin? The door to unilateral tariffs would be closed, but the debate would rage on. If the court sides with Trump, the tariffs snap into effect. The president's power to impose sweeping trade measures without Congress would be confirmed. Supporters would hail new leverage in global negotiations. Critics would warn of an imperial presidency and unpredictable trade policy. Congress's role in trade would shrink dramatically. Each new president could upend the system with a signature. The decision would echo for generations, reshaping the balance of power. America's trading partners would brace for impact. At the heart of the case, the Major Questions Doctrine. Big changes need clear congressional approval. The challengers say Congress never meant IEEPA to allow blanket tariffs. The administration says IEEPA gives the president broad tools in emergencies. The court could also revive the non-delegation doctrine. Congress can't hand its core powers to the president. How the justices interpret these doctrines will define the limits of executive power. This isn't just about tariffs. It's about the blueprint of American government. The outcome could reshape the separation of powers for decades. The court's ruling could be narrow or sweeping, with huge consequences. Will billions in tariffs be refunded? Will Congress reclaim its power or cede more? How will the world react? Retaliation or relief? The decision will trigger a wave of responses in Washington and around the globe. The only certainty, the stakes are enormous and the aftershocks will be felt everywhere. The world is holding its breath. The Supreme Court's decision will define presidential power, congressional authority, and America's role in the world. The outcome will shape the price of goods, the global economy, and the future of US trade. This is a turning point for the Constitution and for all of us. What do you think, bold leadership or dangerous overreach? Let us know in the comments, and stay tuned for the fallout. This video doesn't end with the court's decision. In our next segment, we'll dive deeper, exploring expert opinions, breaking down your most asked questions, and offering fresh analysis as new developments unfold. Got a specific angle or question you want covered? Drop it in the comments below. Your input could shape our next episode.